Texting 8675309. I know what that number was, boys and girls. It was for Surfside Beach in South Carolina. IDD has taken the show on the road. Happy Memorial Day to those of you out there in Never Never Land. And as in Never Never Neverland, I mean never ever ever has a basketball team come back from 3-0 in the NBA playoffs. But we are live in Surfside Beach, just south of Myrtle. And in case you didn't notice, we have a special guest here today. And by the way, everything I've ever done wrong.
Oh, sure. Everything wrong.
This is the only Carol Jane Migliaccio, maiden name Russo, the mother of the always adjacent brother. Welcome to the show, Mom. It is a privilege to have you today here in the comforts of palm trees. I have this down because you couldn't see us if I lifted them. So, and for you green glass wearing pom-pom wavers, look what I got for you today. That's right, Johnny. The Celts are going to do it tonight. The Celts are going to do everything right. The Celts are bigger, more athletic, they're faster, they jump higher. They're just more talented. All right, enough of that crap. Let's get back to reality.
Yeah.
Thank you. I can't do that. I'm sorry. I just can't do that. Anyway. Now, this woman here has had the privilege, 78 trips around the sun. She's been around the block a few times.
A few.
Would you say it's fair to say?
A few.
Okay.
A few.
She has seen them all. And I'm talking Bill Russell.
Yep.
Bobby Orr.
Right.
Ted Williams.
Definitely. Not Ted Williams.
Well,
he was
Yaz.
before me.
You saw Yaz.
I saw Yaz.
You saw Yaz. She's seen them all.
I saw Larry Bird.
Dave Cowens. Havlicek.
John Havlicek.
Oh, Joel, we got a story for you today.
Stole the ball.
But it is an honor to have my mother on the show today. Surprise! Game 6 pregame. I didn't know that we'd be having a Game 6 pregame after what the Celtics did in Game 3. But they got up off the mat, to their credit, dusted themselves off, and decided quitting was not an option. Well, that's one good sign. First question to you, though. Welcome to the show, by the way.
Thank you.
Long-time viewer.
Good to be here.
Never misses a show.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. My question is, what is that stuff from? What is that from? Oh, look, I'm bleeding. Oh, anyway. That stinks. We'll clear it later. Anyway, the first question to you is, now you've seen this current Celtic team. You've been watching the playoffs.
Yes.
Is there anything about them that they do that reminds you of the glory days of Russell and Kuzi and Havlicek and those guys? Anything about them that hey, I remember, what would that be?
They pass the ball.
They pass the ball. They do move the ball. 28 assists last game, to be exact.
You have to play as a team, and they play as a team.
They do. When they're playing well, yes, they are.
Yes.
Yes, they are. To her point, the last two games, 9 turnovers, 10 turnovers. The assists were 25 and 28. So she's right about that. Absolutely. When the Celtics do that, they're at their best. I would agree with that. So they pass the ball. Anything else about them?
No, they're quick. They're good. They play as a team, and they know where each other is, on the court.
They have mentioned that there's a connection there. In fact, Jaylen Brown mentioned it, that they're connected. They're connected. And defensively, to be a good defensive team, you have to be connected. That's the other thing that they do when they do it. The last 2 games, they've held Miami below 100 points. Mm-hmm. Not coincidentally, they won them both. Okay? If you look at the first 3 games, Miami had 123, 128, and 100 and whatever, but they've been over 110 for every game. Miami was not a very good offensive team all year, so that means the Celtics weren't playing defense. But the last 2 games, to your point.
Can they win tonight?
Yes. They can win tonight. I'm glad you asked me that question.
Will they win tonight?
Well, here's the thing. And this is where I take off the glasses, but this is how they realistically can do this. It's not about talent, so Joel, Tom, take that off the table. Talent. If this was about talent, this series would have been over already. They swept them. But for the Celtics to win tonight, they've got to do really 3-4 things. One starts with defense.
Yes.
100 points. They keep Miami below 100 points. They should win tonight. That's one. 2, turnovers. Take care of the ball. Last 2 games, they had 10 and 19. In the 3 losses, they had 15, 15, and 15. That's not a coincidence. And 3, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum must live in the paint offensively, meaning they are going to the basket and or they are posting up. I don't care about the three-point shot, and I don't have a problem with them taking it, but they can't live by it. Larry Bird was a great three-point shooter. Did he live by it?
Larry Bird was a different player altogether.
He was.
Larry
was.
Bird wasn't a jumper,
No.
but he had
Nope.
the court awareness that nobody else had.
Larry Bird, from a basketball standpoint, is the best pro basketball player I've ever seen.
He said he had the court. Well, I wouldn't say the best, but he's up there.
In terms of playing the game, he's the best because he could outrun you, to your point, and he couldn't outjump you. Larry Bird could never impose his will physically. He had to outplay his opponents. And there was never a night in Larry Bird's prime when he was the best athlete on the floor. Was there?
No.
No. That's my point.
He was also a trash talker.
But he backed it up.
He did. He definitely did.
If you're going to talk trash, Grant Williams,
Yeah.
you better back it up. Okay? Because if you don't back it up, and by the way, Jimmy Butler, by the way, you know who he is.
Yes.
Guaranteed a Miami win tonight. If I am Joe Mazzulla, that is the first thing this team is seeing when they walk in the locker room. That's the first thing he's showing them. Oh, you know this guy says it's over tonight. Okay? I remember Bill Russell in 1969, Joel. The Lakers, they're in Game 7 in L.A. They had the champagne ready, the balloons ready to
in the
drop.
ceiling.
Yep.
Balloons are in the
And
ceiling.
Bill Russell found out about this before the game, and that was the message in the locker room. They're already getting the celebration set up. Jerry West is about to celebrate.
Yeah.
And Boston won Game 7 in L.A.
They did.
in 69 for Russell's 11th and final championship as player coach.
Yes.
Okay? So if I'm Joe Mazzulla, if nothing else, that is going to be all over the bulletin board. That's going to be all over the chalkboard. This guy guarantees it's ending tonight. Because honestly, if you're a competitor, I don't understand you. I hate when this watch talks. I have a watch. We're living in the Star Trek age, by the way. Okay?
You are, not me.
I know. You were smart not to do it. But anyway, the prevailing message tonight has to be this guy guarantees it's over. Because as a competitor, if that doesn't motivate you, you can't be motivated as far as I'm concerned. There's nothing worse than your opponent calling their shot and then doing it to you. And for the Celtics, that has to be their rallying cry. They think it's over. Jimmy Butler is guaranteeing it's over. If the Boston Celtics do not respond to this tonight, they are exactly who I thought they were. Frauds. Because if they're who I hope they are, they're going to plot. They're going to just because they are capable of blowing this team up. They did it in Game 4. They beat them by 17 in Miami. They're not only capable of winning, they're capable of blowing Miami out if they come with the right mindset. The mindset has to start with defense, and that has to start with Jimmy Butler says it's over tonight. Which means Jimmy Butler's going to drop 35 or 40 on your head and send you to the golf course. So
it could be over tonight.
If they don't take the same approach mentally, yes, it will be over tonight. And that's what I'm afraid of because that's who the Celtics have been for 2 years. They rely solely on talent, and they only perform when their back is against the wall. That's been their MO. So tonight, their back is obviously against the wall, and their opponent is guaranteeing victory. Okay? So Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Marcus Smart, whoever, Al Horford, this has to be your rallying cry. No, this guy ain't ending us. This dude's not sending us home. No. No, that's going to be your rallying cry. That's number one. So defense, turnovers, keep those two. And Bam Adebayo, who's been terrific in the 3 games they've won, he's the second fiddle there. They've got to keep him in check. And make your free throws. How many free throws these guys have missed?
No, I know.
Lord. Well, I also wanted to ask you because you saw Bill Russell.
I did.
I'm gonna pay for this. I know it, but I'm gonna ask you this question: what's your fondest memory of Bill Russell?
Do you really want me to tell you?
Yep. Go ahead. Be honest.
Huh?
I kind of didn't want you to, but go ahead, do it.
It's his free throws at the line.
Explain. Please explain.
He did the under the butt shot that he couldn't do. Couldn't.
Is not could. Wouldn't.
Couldn't.
Refused.
Yeah.
Refused. Peer pressure.
But yeah.
It's a terrible thing. He wasn't the only one.
No, he wasn't the only one.
Rick Barry, who led the NBA in free throw shooting, under the butt.
Yeah.
Will Chamberlain.
Under the butt.
Under the butt. So he wasn't the only all-time great that did that.
No.
But when she showed me this, when I was a kid, she used to beat me and horse with it because we wouldn't do it. She used to do this under the butt free throw shot that would drive me and my brothers crazy. Absolutely crazy. And she would make it.
I would make it, yeah.
Time and time and time again.
Yeah.
It was terrible. It was the worst thing to look at. But when she did it, swish.
Yeah.
All net.
All net.
All the time. Drove my brothers and I up a wall.
Because they couldn't do it.
And the only thing worse than her doing it was her singing about her doing it.
I didn't sing about it.
Oh, you would. You would brag about it.
Well,
You would
yes,
brag
because
about
you
it.
couldn't do it.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
It was if you go back and you can YouTube and see some. Oh, it's just. But Rick Barry, who was a 90% foul shooter,
Yeah.
shooting that shot, there's something to be said for that. So look,
Yeah.
Shaquille, and again, big hands. The reason they did that was their hands were so big they had a hard time gripping the basketball. Shaquille O'Neal was too cool for it, so he was not going to do it. 50% foul shooter. Imagine if Shaq was a 70% foul shooter.
Yeah.
Look at his numbers. So. Really, that's the fondest one? What's your second fondest memory of the Celtics?
Havlicek stealing the ball.
There's that name again, Joel. John Havlicek.
Stealing the ball.
Who, now you saw him and Jerry West compete head to head. Who was the better player?
Havlicek.
Why?
Because I'm a Celtic fan.
Well, they were 6-0 against him. You kind of have this kind of facts to back up your argument.
Yes, but I just liked Havlicek.
Oh.
Yeah. He just had his head in the game at all times.
He was a worker.
He was a worker.
26,000 points.
Right. He was a worker. He wasn't giving up no matter what. So
John Havlicek has
watch
8.
him play.
John Havlicek is 8 for 8 in the NBA Finals.
Yeah, he was.
Okay. And
was-
2 in the 70s with Dave Cowens,
Yeah,
who I
with
worked
Dave
for, who won a
Cowens.
league MVP. He was a league MVP. I worked for
Yeah.
a league MVP.
Yeah,
and a
he was
champion.
really good too.
He was amazing, Dave Cowens. An undersized center who battled Kareem and beat Kareem. That says a lot about the Celtic history. So what do you think?
I like the Dream Team.
Well, everybody loves the Dream Team.
Dream Team.
Bird,
was
Magic, and Michael were amazing.
Yeah.
What do you think the Celtics have to do tonight?
They have to get their head in the game. Because
that word,
they
head in the game?
They got to get their head in the game, and they got to start right from the beginning.
Fast start.
They have a reputation for getting way ahead and then giving up the lead
And why do you think that is?
because they get overconfident.
See, it's not just me. She knows too. They
They-
get overconfident. Yes.
They
I agree.
stop working
Yep.
and they figure they can slide a while, and they let the other team in.
And that can't happen tonight.
No.
No.
They
There
get
can be no
everything against
letdown.
them tonight.
They do. The whole world. And if you think they're going to get a call tonight,
No.
not happening. They're not
really-
getting the Celtics are going to have to win. This is why I got mad at them when they blew games 1 and 2 because it should be at worst 3-2 Boston right now. They should have won one of the first 2 at home. That's the first problem. But you get in this situation now, and if you think the Celtics are getting a call tonight,
They won't get a call.
they will
tonight.
not get. They're going to have to win 7 on 5 tonight, which is what Joel doesn't seem to understand. Okay, now does that mean it can't happen? No, it can happen, but it can't be close.
No, the
If
odds
this
are
comes
against
down to one possession, Miami's definitely going to get a call if it's one
Right.
possession.
Well, the odds are against them. They're
Of course it
the other team is at home.
Yep,
We're going into their court,
yep,
and the fans are going to be loud and crazy.
yep. Because they know
Of course they know. And
they don't want to go back to Boston.
No, and this could be the end,
This could be the end.
and they know that.
Yep.
And,
So we're going to be watching tonight.
but the Celtics need to fight 4 quarters,
4 quarters, yes, and they need to close quarters too.
not just 1 or 2, and not give up a lead. They
No.
need to keep going.
What was great about the last 2 wins, anyway, they closed the second quarter
Right,
very well.
right,
They had a run to close the half
Right.
and put Miami on its heels. They got to do that again. They got to do that
They
again.
just got a lead. Don't blow
Yeah.
the lead.
Play
If
from
you get
in
a
front.
lead, don't blow the lead.
Yep.
And they've been known to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So they can't blow the lead.
No. And when we say defense, now they've forced Miami into 16 turnovers plus the last 2 games and turned them into 20 plus points. They have not let Miami get comfortable. They have not let Jimmy Butler get comfortable. Even when he had 29 points in game 4, he was 9 of 21 shooting. He had to work for it. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum have to take it upon themselves that they are going to shut this guy down. Because I don't think Miami can beat them if Jimmy Butler has an off night. This is like if Michael Jordan has an off night, the Bulls can't win. And I'm not saying Jimmy Butler's Michael Jordan. He is not in the same stratosphere as Michael Jordan. Get that through your heads. I've heard a couple people make that mistake. Jimmy Butler is no Michael Jordan. No. Michael Jordan was a killer. If Michael Jordan got you down 3-0, he swept you. It was over.
Yeah.
It was over, just so we're clear. So the point is that, but Jimmy Butler has that ability to knock you out if you let him. If you let him get comfortable.
Well, yes. If you let them in, they're going to beat you.
Yeah.
If you give them any kind of a gift, like letting,
Mm-hmm.
get rebounds and everything, they're going to beat you.
Yep. And there are 3 names I want people to remember. And these are, we call them, Shaq calls them the others. They are Highsmith, Caleb Martin, okay, and Duncan Robinson. This is Miami's bench, basically.
Yeah.
Last game, 18, 15, and 14, okay? You can't let them get going either. You have to run them off. The 3 games Miami won, by the way, it might be this simple. Miami shot over 40% from the three-point line in all three
Right.
games. Boston didn't. In the
Right.
2 games Boston won, Boston shot over 40% from the three-point line, and they held Miami to 20-something percent. So it may, as ridiculous as it may sound, it may come down to that.
It may.
It may. And if I'm the Celtics, do not let them get comfortable. Do not let them start shooting. Miami's just like Boston. If they're hitting their threes, they start playing
Can't
defense
live
better.
by the three.
No, you cannot.
They need to take it in.
When they go to the
Take
basket,
it to home.
Jason Tatum's 12 points in that first quarter were all going to the rim. In Game 5, when he got them, he was going to the back. He was dunking on people. He was going by. He needs to be aggressive from the jump and not worry about an offensive foul or two. And they've got to penetrate and dish. And when they shoot, they got to close. Offensive rebounding is another key. They did that very well in the 2 wins.
Right.
So the game's at 8:30 tonight. National televised. We will be watching from down here in Surfside Beach, which is just south of Myrtle. And again, I'd love to be showing you the palm trees behind you, but if I put up this blind right now, you would not see anything but a whiteout. They wouldn't even see the trees.
They wouldn't see the palm.
They wouldn't see the palm trees because it's so bright out there because of the angle. You wouldn't see it. And it's not sunlight.
No.
I wish it was sunlight. It's not.
No,
it's cloudy.
Cloudy.
But
But the idea is you got to come to the beach.
yes, you do. The boardwalk's right there.
You got to come.
I could throw a rock and hit it from here. It's right there. So give me a prediction tonight.
Give you a prediction.
Who do you think is going to? I need a score, but who do you think's going to win tonight? Oh, by the way, before she does, shameless plug.
Dunkin' Donuts.
We found
The biggest.
the largest Dunkin' Donuts in the history of North America, and it's not 2 miles from here. And it's large. It looks like a restaurant, it's amazing. And this is the blueberry cake donut, Tom, the greatest donut ever. But they call it something different. They call it glazed blueberry down here.
Yeah, they do.
Not blueberry cake, a little southern thing. It's a glazed blueberry, not a blueberry cake. It's the same donut. But anyway. Shameless plug, Dunkin' Donuts. Of course, Dr. Pepper's not with us, but we have all these sponsors they don't know about yet. But someday, Tom, they will know. But this is Dunkin' Donuts. This is the blueberry cake donut. I highly recommend it. For those of you who just want to throw in the towel and don't give a damn, when you're on vacation and aren't counting calories, here you go, baby. Here's $2.50 and 3 delicious bites. And I say 3 if we're Homer Simpson. But anyway, give me a prediction tonight.
Well,
what do you think?
Of course, my heart is with the Celtics. It's always with the Celtics.
Yep.
And I have my doubts, but then I look at the Red Sox who beat the Yankees in 4.
Oh, don't go there.
So,
Go
they
ahead.
did.
Okay.
They did. So I think, anything's possible,
Yeah.
and they got to be on their game. Mm-hmm. And I want them to win, but
Okay. But
Is it
you
not?
know, you also know reality.
right, exactly. Reality is in favor of
Miami.
Miami.
Yeah.
Yes,
Um,
which is unfortunate. But
Just to
it is.
piggyback off that, because she's 100% right. My heart says Boston, my head says Miami.
Right.
The thing about my head is that it's usually right. So,
hope it
and it's always when I don't want it to be. I'm only right when I don't want to be right. I don't want to be right about this Joel. Now, Joel, who is our, we call him the fixture,
Yeah.
our Philly connection, who you better be back on the show next week. You and I got to talk business, talk shop. But anyway, Joel is looking at one thing. He's looking at the talent. Okay, because the Celtics have more talent on paper. This series should have been over already. I mean, we had them in 5. Most experts had them in 5 or 6. But it's not, because the game is not talent, Joel. The game is 90% mental, and that's why we're sitting here tonight on the brink of going golfing, we being Celtics fans. So the reason I say Miami is because we're asking the Celtics to do something that's out of their character to do, which is play hard and smart for 4 quarters for 3 consecutive games. When they don't do that,
Well,
they don't do it. They didn't do it in the finals last year against Golden State when they were the more talented team.
But
Okay.
they got to step up to the plate.
They got to step up to the plate. If the Celtics are going to show something to me tonight, because me and Tom said this after they won Game 4, wake me if there's a Game 7. Okay? Because then we'll know they did something, like tonight. Because tonight's the night.
Tonight is the night.
Tonight is the night that's going to tell me if this team actually has a shot as a championship medal to them. Because a championship caliber team will find a way to win this game tonight. The Celtics can beat this team in a multitude of ways. They can't outrun them. They can't outjump them. They can't outshoot them. Just play defense. Here's the one thing the Celtics do that nobody does when they're locked in. They play defense like nobody else.
Right.
And when Russell was Russell,
Yes.
that's why they played defense like nobody else, and he was the linchpin. He was what got the Celtics over the top.
Oh, yes,
The
definitely.
Celtics have a guy named Marcus Smart who's won Defensive Player of the Year. He looked like that guy in the last 2 games. He needs to be that guy again tonight. I don't care if Marcus shoots a 3, but Marcus has got to lock people down.
Yeah.
Okay? They need to do that. And Joe Mazzulla was playing Peyton Pritchard in Game 5, and it was smart. He needs to, because our friend Brogdon there, who we brought in from India, who won the 6-man award, is hurt.
Right.
He's hurt on his shooting arm, and he hasn't been able to shoot. He's been playing with a stretched tendon or a torn tendon in his shooting arm. You can't shoot when you do that. So this is why Peyton Pritchard and Hauser got in last night. You're going to have to use that bench on the road, and bench players on the road generally don't play as well. We're going to find out about if this team has championship medal tonight. On the record, I am picking Miami. Does it mean I want Miami?
I found this
no,
on the web.
you zip it. But I am picking Miami because I don't think Boston has championship medal. And they're going to have to prove it to me. And by the way, they're going to have to prove it to a lot of people.
They are. Tonight's the night.
Tonight is the night. This
Yeah.
is a prove it to me moment for the Boston Celtics.
Celtics,
We're going to find out, okay?
Yeah.
And you'll know right away in the first quarter by the way they're playing defense, not by how they're shooting the three. Because, Charles Barkley said something, and he's right. The Celtics, when they're making their shots, they do everything better.
Yeah.
And when they're missing threes, it's like they just disengage and walk out.
They just give up.
And championship teams don't think like that.
They give up.
They give up.
They give up.
I don't care if the Celtics miss their first 13 threes. They have to be playing defense the way they did the last two games.
Instead of fighting
Because-
back, they give up.
Because if they do that, they can miss 13 threes and still be in the game. Okay?
Yeah.
But that's going to be the test tonight. We'll know right away in the first quarter, are they bringing it defensively or are they just relying on the three? If they're relying on the three, this is over. I'll tell you that right now. This is over. You're not going to shoot 40% 3 games in a row and beat this team. You're not going to do it. If Jimmy Butler goes off tonight, it's over. Okay, it's over. So they got to be able to stop him. They've held him in check before. They can do it again, and they've got to go to the basket. To my mother's point, go to the basket and don't live by the three.
Right.
Because if you live by the three, you will die by it. It's just that simple, and the numbers back that up. The Boston Celtics. This is for you. This is how right you are. The Boston Celtics are 38-2
Yes.
this year when they shoot 40%. 38-2. That's historically good. When they shoot below 40%, they are 29-31. They're a below 500 team.
Right.
A below 500 team isn't in the Eastern Conference Finals and winning a Game 6 on the road. That's what Joe doesn't understand. Okay? Don't live by the three tonight because if you do, you will die. They will die by it. That is a promise. So we're going to close this segment out because my mom's getting nervous.
I'm not nervous.
But I want to thank you, not just for being on my show, but for being my mom and being everything you have ever been to me, which, by the way, boys and girls, she's one of the main reasons I'm still here. Steve, the lady in the other room there who I was smart enough to marry. And by the way, happy birthday, Big G. Happy 87 trips around the sun to one, Handsome George McCosh, the greatest father-in-law ever. Handsome George from IDD. I don't disagree. So that's segment 1. I'm going to come back alone in segment 2.
Happy birthday, George.
Yes, happy birthday from my mother. George will hopefully watch us and you can see each other.
Yeah.
But I'm going to come back segment 2. There's a certain wide receiver out there that's available.
Yes. Will the Patriots take him?
We're going to discuss that in segment 2.
Okay.
Well, if you want to be here, you can. I'm going to leave it up to you. But anyway, that is the mother of the adjacent brother, one Carol Jane Migliaccio. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I love you.
Thanks for having me. Yeah.
We will see you on the other side, boys and girls. And yes.
And root the Celtics
And yes.
in.
And yes. And yes.
Get the sunglasses.
Go Celtics! Segment 2, Patriots on the other side.